Which welder should you pick up? Well, I've got 3 questions to ask, and if the welder checks off those 3, then you know it will work for you. Number 1, what material are you doing? If it's just gonna be some good old plain Jane steel, well, guess what? Any of these welders are going to work. But if you need to bump it up to some, say, aluminum, well, pay attention into the MIG and TIG categories for that one. Number 2, what is the max thickness of that material you're going to be welding? If it is just 3/16 or thinner, then you are good just with a 120 volt machine. But if you're going to be bumping that up to something thicker than that, you're going to need a higher voltage or 240 volt machine. And question number 3 is, what's your budget or price? If you've only got $100 in your pocket, you're going to be headed over to the Zongods and getting the cheapest welder you can find, or maybe Harbor Freight on the next weekend sale. I'm going to start off with stick welders, and that's because they are the cheapest way to get into welding. Now you're going to have 2 types, either just a ginormous honking AC type welder, which this thing seriously will outlast the cockroaches in a nuke, or you can get a small inverter DC type. Now don't let these fool you, you can actually get some pretty high amperage out of these machines, but this one's just a simple little Yes Welder Arc 25, and I picked it up for $60 on Amazon, and it wasn't even the cheapest one out there. And then this one, I would not buy a new Lincoln Buzzbox because I found it on the classified ads for $100, and there's like 4 or 5 other ones up there, so cheap. You've got the stick or rod, which is covered in flux. That's what's going to protect your weld, and that goes into the stinger or electro holder. Doesn't matter what you call it. You stick that in there, and then we also need a ground or earth clamp, and this is used to complete the electrical loop, which that's what we're using electricity to create an arc hot enough to melt 2 freaking pieces of metal together. Ranging on from, I would say, $40, $50 on up, it does check that budget category. Now, if you do need something for some thicker material, then you will need a 230 or 240 volt machine that can output higher amperage. We know it can do steel, but I'm kind of hesitant to tell you this. You can get aluminum welding rods to do aluminum, but I've only done it once or twice and it turned out horrible. Maybe you'll have beginner's luck and it will work out great for you. Stick welding is awesome welding outdoors, and just to give you the whole spectrum, this is the Eco Power, and I don't think it took off very well because I actually can't find that much information online about it other than the spec sheets. But if you are in the need for a battery powered, totally off the grid welder, ESAB has a sweet one that uses DeWalt batteries. Haven't tried it? Looks awesome. I would totally get one of these cheap little guys if you're a first-time welder, or you just have just one little tiny project, or I mean, hey, just get one just as a backup. Or get a tombstone if you got some thicker material to do. Almost every single welder will have a number in the name, whether it be, you know, the EMP 205, titanium 125. What that correlates to is the max amperage it can output. And that tells you 2 things. One is about the max thickness of material you can do. Also gives you an idea for the duty cycles, meaning how long the machine can run before it has to stop and cool down. A little 90 amp machine is not going to be able to weld nearly the amount of time or length as a 200 plus machine. The next step up in price for machines would be a flux core only machine. Now, they're typically smaller sized machines like this. The Chicago Electric and some others are bigger, bulker. They actually have an AC output. These are DC only. It's what the new technology is. It's you get an awesome, more consistent weld out of DC in a lot smaller package. These machines I always suggest getting as an introduction type welder, and that's because even though they are a little more expensive, I would say they are worth that little extra just for the ease of the welding that you can do over stick welding. You've got, you know, what you call a MIG gun. I know there's going to be a lot of MIG references, even though they're flux core only. For example, this is the MIG 145 Pro. it can't MIG weld. The titanium, I love it. It's the FLUX 125. They come out and say, hey, we're fluxing only. Awesome. So what they've done is they've taken your rod with the flux around it, they've rolled it up into a spool of wire and put it either up on top or over here somewhere. How do you open this one? They put it on the side. It doesn't matter. It all functions the same in that these machines, they take this wire off the reel and then they send it through the gun and it comes out as you're pulling the trigger. That is what is creating the arc. And there are the same ground earth clamps. You need to connect this to your workpiece, or if you've got a metal table, that creates the loop for your electricity. So what can these machines do? Well, we obviously know they can do steel. You can get a stainless steel wire and do that. I've only done it once or twice. It worked out for my little project. No aluminum whatsoever. It's not like you can get an aluminum wire and have it work. Not going to happen with these machines. You are going to be capped out at about 120 volts. And that correlates to about 3/16 inch thickness max. So of course I get asked all the time, hey, what about framework on a car? We don't care about the overall dimensions. It's all about the thickness of the material. That's 3/16. So yes, this machine can handle that type of weld. I would go FLUX if I was brand new and on a budget. Seriously, you can pick up the titanium 125 for like 130 bucks. Freaking awesome welder for that price. MIG is very similar to flux core in that you still got a machine with a spool of wire that feeds it out through your MIG gun to create the weld. Difference is, now we're adding a gas. You're going to want either a C25, which is a mixed gas, or I always suggest 100%. It's cheaper and it welds just the same. So why make that jump up to MIG? Well, the first one, the MIG weld process is so much cleaner than flux core. Flux has a lot of spatter and dust going everywhere. MIG, super nice and easy. Cleanup is a breeze. Another reason, every single MIG machine can be a flux core welder. Make sure that you actually change the polarity. We now have a lot more options for 230 volts, which in turns get you higher amperage, thus can check the box for some thicker material. These tanks can be compressed up to like 2000 PSI, so don't do what I'm doing and just leave it up on the bench. Since MIG machines have the solenoids and features to run gas, we can actually switch that gas out for 100% argon, get what's called a spool gun, and then we can now weld aluminum. And this would be the cheapest option for aluminum welding, assuming you're not fiddling around with some stick rods. One last benefit here for you, and that would be that MIG machines can typically do thinner material versus, say, a flux core machine. Ideal for any auto body or shop type use. You put it on the cart, it stays there. Obviously you can go 230 volts for thicker material. And of course for all of you out there just with that one little aluminum project, looking to get in the spool gun. This is a TIG welder and this is a TIG welder. Almost every stick machine can be turned into a TIG welder. And that's because, well, all you need to do is just get some gas and a TIG torch and you can do what's called a scratch style start TIG weld. Definitely not the best or easiest, but hey, I mean, you can dip your toes and learn how to do a rough TIG weld with the simplest stick machine. This is a TIG torch, and instead of having wire or a rod sticking out of your electro holder, we've got this little piece of tungsten that heats up, which does not melt prior to melting either your aluminum or steel or cast or 10 other materials, which that is one of the main reasons why TIG welding, you can do all kinds of materials because all that has to do with is what filler rod you're using. So if you are doing aluminum, then you're going to get an aluminum rod. If steel, then steel. And I don't know why, but you have to have 100% argon with TIG welding. Why not the $60 machine versus, you know, the $700 machine? Well, Of course, there are a bucket load of features that you can get or add on with TIG welding. One of them being a foot pedal. What this allows you to do is actually control the amperage that is going out through the tungsten. The cheap machines, you have a scratch style, so you actually touch and scratch your workpiece to get that arc going. Versus the high frequency start, you push the pedal, or sometimes they have a little finger button, and it creates this little tiny zap for a few seconds while it starts the arc. And then you don't ever have to touch your tungsten to the workpiece. Now at the very first, we talked about AC machines for FLUX and MIG machines, and they work, just DC's a little better. Well, if you want to do aluminum, you have to have an AC type machine, TIG machine. For everything other than steel, I go TIG. Now, if you are brand new to the welding game, I probably wouldn't make an AC/DC TIG machine my first, but then again, that's me. Go out there and have at it. So what about multi-process machines? Well, just like in the name states, they'll take 3 or more processes, bundled it up in one little package, and there you have it. Here's my take. They are great to save on space, and it is cheaper than going out and buying 4 separate machines. And there's a whole bunch more budget-friendly ones popping up. You know, this Art Captain, it can do all 4 processes pretty well. Where it's lacking, and where typically the ones in this price category do lack, is the TIG functions. It's missing quite a few. Versus, if you want to fork out the big bucks, you know, $4,000 for the ESOB, this has every single thing. It's an AC/DC. It can do it all. But I just mentioned, it's $4,000. Here's what I would go with. You only got 50 bucks in your pocket, this is your only option. Or I would look into a 230 volt MIG machine that takes care of MIG and flux core. If needed, check out the spool gun. But I would rather use my AC/DC TIG machine for aluminum, so pick up that, and it takes care of stick function. And of course, for the small, little portable, easy jobs, the Titanium 125. We can now do it all.